Hello everyone. Our next topic is manufacturing test principles. So see this diagram. In this diagram, we have a combinational logic with n input and n output. Now to check this combinational logic, okay, I need 2 to the power of n inputs, that is test vectors, must be applied and observed to fully exercise the circuit. So to exercise the circuit or to check the circuit, okay, to all the combinations I need total 2 to the power of n inputs. Okay, so this combinational circuit now converted into sequential circuit by adding m bit of registers. Okay, so now I need 2 to the power of n plus m test vectors to check the circuit. So total number of input patterns required is 2 to the power of n plus m. Okay, now for take one example, the same thing I'm taking here with LSI, the large scale integration. Okay, so with n equal to 25 and m equal to 50, 2 to the power of 75 patterns, which is approximately equal to 3.8 into 10 to the power of 22. Now assuming one had the pattern and applied them at an application rate of 1 microsecond per pattern, the best time would be over a billion year. Now this example indicates that if I am taking a sequential circuit with n inputs and n inputs and m registers, that is 2 to the power of 75 patterns must be generated to check this circuit. Okay, that is equal to 3.8 into 10 to the power of 22. If I take 1 microsecond per pattern, so I need a timing of the best timing, that is one, that is over a billion years. I need to spend billion years to check this circuit, and it is not practical. That's why, to make this one simpler, the manufacturing test engineers must cleverly devise the test vectors that detect any defective node without requiring so many patterns. We can't go for all the patterns, all the n patterns. So the manufacturing test engineer designing the pattern such that so we can easily find the defective nodes without going for so many patterns. Now fault model. Now what is this fault model? It's very simple. Now see here, there are two types in fault models, that is stuck-at model. Another one is the short circuit or open circuit model. Now see this diagram. This is the example for a stuck-at model. Now input is stuck to high, stuck at 1. The input is stuck to 0, stuck at 0. Now this here, stuck at 0, that is SA0, stuck at 0, stuck at 1, like that. Okay, the input is stuck at 1. There is also error. Whatever may be the input you are applying, the input line is the fixed to 1. Okay, and for this faults you can't get the expected output. Okay, the output is always depend upon this input. Now this input is continuously fixed. This one is stuck at 1, this one is stuck at 0. Now see this layout. Now this input, that is the polysilicon or the gate, is shorted with the VDD, that is stuck at 1. Now here this polysilicon line, that is this one polysilicon line, that is the gate, is shorted with the VSS, that is stuck at 0. Now these are the fault model, that is stuck at fault. Next is short circuit and open circuit fault. Now see the example. This is short circuit fault. If this internal line, this node line, is shorted to the output, or if this A is shorted to the ground, this is called short circuit fault. This is called short circuit fault. Now see this layout here. If these two lines are shorted, if these two lines, this one and this one, are shorted, okay, that is short circuit fault. Now here VSS is shorted with the polysilicon. VSS is shorted with the polysilicon, that is A. A is shorted with ground. A is shorted with the ground. Now this is the example for short circuit fault. Next is open circuit fault. Now see here. Now compare these two circuits. They are same, This one is NOR gate, example for the NOR gate. Okay, now here this line is open. Now this is the expression for the NOR gate, but when this line is open, this fault is called open circuit fault. Okay, so when this one is open, the output expression is entirely changed. This one will be the output expression. Instead of getting this NOR gate expression, we are getting some other expression. Now because of fault, that is open fault, that is open circuit fault. Now see here, this is the open circuit fault example. Okay, now two types, that is stuck at 0, stuck at 1, stuck at model, stuck at fault. Then another one is the short circuit and open circuit fault. Now this is short circuit and open circuit fault. Next, observability and controllability. Very simple to understand. Observability, whenever the chip is manufactured, how to check the internal condition of the chip? Can you see the internal operation? It is not possible. So millions of nodes will be there, or hundreds or thousands of nodes will be there internally in the chip. Okay, if it is possible to see the condition of that individual node, that is called observability. If you can see what is the condition of that particular node from the outside pin, that is called observability. Now our designers will design the code such that while now wait, now it is the duty of the designer, the chip designer, to make your circuit observable, to give this observability. Okay, now it is the duty of the design engineer to make your circuit observable, to make this increase the observability, increasing the observability. Okay, so observability means the ability to see the value of that particular node, whether it is 1 or 0, from the outside. Okay, so sometime it is, if you can see that line directly, or sometime you have to go for indirect methods. Okay, that is called observability. Next, controllability. Now controllability means ability to change the state of the node from the outside. Okay, now ability to change the state of the internal nodes from the outside pins, that is called controllability. Again, it is the duty of the design engineer to make your device controllable, to make it more controllable. Okay, sometimes few instructions are enough to change the internal status, sometimes you have to go for thousands of cycles, okay, to make that input 1 or 0. Getting? Now this is called controllability. Next is fault coverage. Now fault coverage, why we are using this fault coverage? So we use the test vectors to check your circuit. Now how to find the goodness or success rate of this test vector? Okay, that is done by fault coverage. The measure of goodness of a test vector is the amount of fault coverage it achieves. Okay, how much fault you can cover. Okay, so the percentage of fault coverage decides the goodness of the test vector you are using. Okay, now how to make this one? So first we are making all the so each circuit node is taken in the sequence and held at 0. Now all the nodes are held at 0 and we are applying the test vector. Now this is the first stage. Then comparing the output of our chip with the good machine. Okay, our machine with the good machine. If there is any difference in the output, so faults are detected and marked and simulation is stopped. And the same thing is repeated once again by making all the nodes equal to 1. Again comparing the output of our machine with the good machine. Okay, now fault coverage of a set of test vector is the percentage of the total node that can be detected as faulty when the vectors are applied. To achieve world-class quality levels, circuits are required to have in excess of 98.5% fault coverage. Okay, now fault coverage is nothing but measuring the goodness of the test vectors. And what is test vector? Test vectors are the data patterns, test patterns applied to check your circuit. Okay, now test vector, how much and what is the quality of test vector, that is decided by the fault coverage. Okay, the first method, the how, what are the steps of doing this one? For make all the inputs equal, all the nodes equal to 0, apply the test vector, compare the output with the good machine, now detect the differences, again repeat the same thing by making all the node equal to 1, then apply the test vector, compare the output with the good machine. Okay, again detect the differences. So by this way you can detect the faults in the nodes. Okay, wherever faults you are getting, by comparing with the standard you can find the nodes. Okay, now this fault coverage decides the goodness of the test vector. Next, automatic test pattern generation. Now automatic test pattern generation, now here manually we can't, if 2 to the power of n, I say 2 to the power of n, manually we can't generate all the patterns required to test. So we are using automatic test pattern generation methods. Okay. Now commercially we are using this ATPG as a standard for all digital designs. That is standard, that is a automatic test pattern generation. Next is delay fault testing. Now what is this delay fault testing? This one is very simple. Now if you compare these two circuits, this one and this one almost same. The only difference is here it is open circuited. Now this one is a fault, but still you are getting same output with some delay. Here you are getting little more delay. Outputs are same, but you are getting a delay. That is called delay fault testing. Now testing the delay, testing the fault because of this type of errors. Okay, now this is called delay fault testing. Now please go through this one. Concepts are very easy, so you can expect a 6-mark question from this portion. Any doubt, you can call me at any time. Thank you.